Heroes, villains, a tale as old as time, and the never-ending battle to protect truth and justice from those who thrive on chaos and bloodshed. Come with us as we peel back the mask on your beloved Crusaders of Light and dive deep into the dark and twisted abyss of your most feared and hated harbingers of doom. Follow your host, Power Maximus, and everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, as they take a trip down the rabbit hole that is everything super. So, are you a hero or a villain? Either way, find that super suit and suit up for the Super Breakdown.
What is up? What is up? What is up? We are back for another amazing episode of the Super Breakdown. If you don't know, you're about to find out. I am one of your hosts, Power Maximus, the Red Wolf himself, aka Power Maximus the Conqueror. And we are here with the other host, the man with the most, everyone's favorite arachnid demigod, Lord Triage. Talk to the people.
What's up? What's up?
All right, all right. We are continuing this amazing month, Black History Month. We're continuing our celebration by talking about, in my eyes, I feel like the most underrated, the most underestimated part of Black history and Black culture, the Black woman. Yet they are the strongest of us, the most enduring of us, and the most slept on of us. Black women, we are talking about the Black super queens today. All comic books, all iterations, all the way through. Now, before we get started, since we are talking about Black super queens, I want to give a shout out to some of the Black super queens in my life. I want to give a shout out to my mom. Mom, I love you. She is one of the strongest women I know. And I want to give a shout out to my fiance, two of my Black super queens that are in my life. So I just want to show them love and respect, because without Black women, there really wouldn't be a lot of Black history. Black women have been at the forefront of a lot, at a forefront of so much within our culture, and it is absolutely amazing and yet frustrating that they don't get the love that they deserve. So today we're gonna give them the love. We're gonna give them the roses today. That's just me. That's how I feel. Today is a good episode. I'm happy for this episode. I've been waiting for this episode. Um, at the end of the day, we all agree Black History Month. Black history should be celebrated year round. You know, we already know what it is. We ain't gonna touch on that bit. You know, we gonna leave that one alone. But yeah, here we are, Black Super Queens. We're talking characters: Storm, Rocket, Vixen. We're talking about uh Crimson Avenger. We're talking about all these amazing Black female characters today. You still with us, Triage?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just letting you talk.
Oh, let me preach. Let me preach. Let me preach. Um, yeah. So, who are some of your before we get started, who are some of your black queens, and some of your black super queens?
Oh, well, first and foremost, I'd have to give praise to my mother. You know, she is my guiding light in the dark, who gives me a lot of my morals. I'd have to give praise to my sisters, both
Mm-hmm.
the ones through DNA and the ones through extended. You know, you guys,
Mm-hmm.
y'all drive me crazy, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
where I'd be. I don't know where I'd be without y'all.
I feel that one, man. This is man, I just feel like this episode is gonna be it's gonna be deep because there's a lot of stuff that I really want to touch on. Um, I'll be honest, I was thinking like since we're talking about black women both in comics and how art imitates reality. I wanted to have a strong black woman on this podcast on this show today. Unfortunately, I was not able to get someone to pop in on this episode. Um, but no, if anybody watching wants to chime in, please drop a comment about your favorite black queen, and definitely drop a comment and a tribute to a strong black queen in your life. All right, because we want to give roses this time, for in this episode, and
Mhm.
uh, I I can't, I really don't know what else to say. Just let's get into it. So, talking about black super queens, who's the first who's the first character that pops to your mind?
Uh, if I had to go, especially with more recent time, um, I would
Mhm.
have to do my girl from the boys from Gen V.
Ooh, Marie Moreau. Okay.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the beautiful bloodbender.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, she's definitely one of mine as of late as well. One, just how powerful she is, but also just as a pillar, just the pillar of the show. Like we have all these other characters have these pretty dope powers. Got the wannabe Magneto. Got the wannabe. I would call it like kind of like a Jean Grey kind of character. Telepath in the way the chick that pretty much can push people, make people do what she tells them to do.
Hmm.
Out of all these characters with these really cool powers, she stands out above the rest, not just because she's a main character, but one, the way she uses her powers and the way she stands on business.
Yeah, she's definitely standing
So
out. But
she, and I feel like she has a knack for blowing dicks up too, which makes her even more scary, especially as a man. Yeah, no, yeah, she has a thing about that. I'm not gonna lie, them scenes make me uncomfortable, real uncomfortable.
it made
You
me cringe too. Made me cringe too.
know. Woo. But no, her character is just like so strong, and they make sure that they put that out there as well. That's one thing I do like I like about the boys universe. They don't skimp out. They don't marginalize really at all. Um, on pretty much on the powers and like the diversity. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you'll see like it's a lot of the main characters that have the also cool powers, and a lot of times those main characters are white. But to see the main character of the show be honestly one of the most powerful, I I'll be honest, I think she might be the one to take out Homelander.
I listen, man. There's a lot of potential there. She got hit with the heat vision.
Hmm.
She's still standing. So I mean, and she's still just scratching the surface of what it is she can do. So
Exactly. She had no clue that she could, the translucent sun when she took him out. That was pretty dope. Like I said, it was a first time she used her power in that way. Like what fucking blood vision?
Yes. So for all those who do not know what we're talking about, Marie Monroe has the ability to manipulate blood, and in essence, because she was dealing with another character who was invisible, she was being attacked and couldn't see him. So she literally sensed his pulse and then sensed his blood flowing through his body and then could see him.
Yeah, that like that's pretty dope. Like, so right now I'm in the process of building a character that has similar abilities. I want to point out that I was building this character that can control blood well before, well before, all right, they even dropped Gen V. All right, I had the idea, don't remember, okay, Avatar, with Katara and the bloodbending and stuff, but no. Marie Moreau's on a whole nother level. But honorable mention, Katara is definitely honorable mention for Black Super Queens as well. I just want to point that out. And no shade to her, no shade to her at all.
I always took the Water Tribe as being Samoan, but okay.
Are they not people of color?
I mean, I guess we can count them. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Bro, if we let The Rock walk around,
oh my God! Listen. We're not going to start.
He may be half. He may be half, but listen, if we gonna let The Rock go around and jack us, we gonna let the Water Tribe jack us too.
Listen, The Rock actually slapped Homelander. We're still waiting to see the repercussions of that. But moving on.
Oh man. But no, yeah, I think she might be, because she has the same powers as the so pretty much, and the boys, all we saw from her was her going around blowing up people's heads. We thought Shorty, and I think her nationality, she's mixed as well. The politician chick, I forget her name. Yeah, the politician. They have the same powers, and she was going around blowing people's heads up. So what makes you think that she can't that Marie Monroe can't blow Homelander's head up?
Well, I mean, we saw her blow the one chick's arm off, so I mean,
we see her blow the two guys' dicks off.
Jesus Christ.
And she technically blew up her mom too. So yeah, she can blow people up using her blood. That was dark. That was dark and very, very sad. Well, not gonna lie, that I'm like,
you're a Full Metal Alchemist fan, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. I know exactly where you go with this.
I mean,
Scar could do it too.
I wasn't going Scar. I was going Kimley, Salty Kimley, the Crimson Alchemist.
Oh,
because
you're right.
He can manipulate people's molecules in their bodies and turn them into bombs. So technically, she's doing something pretty similar.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I forgot about him. Wasn't he a bad guy?
Yeah, he was a state alchemist,
I believe. Yeah, he was definitely one of the bad guys. Because I remember him and Roy, him and Mustang, one of the greatest fire using characters out there. They went at it.
Good old Mustang.
I gotta love him. I feel like I can't wait to see where Marie, where they take her story. Because clearly, Butch, he's gonna break them out. It'll be nice to have some soups on their side. That's, some full soups, not temp soups. That'll be really good. Now, I am definitely interested to see where she goes. The first one that comes to my mind, first of all, we all know the first Black Super Queen that comes to everyone's mind, and our comments from our post lately have been absolutely flooded with this character. So I'm not going to mention her yet. I'm gonna wait until the end because best for last. You know who I'm talking about. Everyone's been talking about it. I actually just recently received a poster. Um, you have that artist's name, right? The one that does the posters that you order, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to give that artist a shout out because the work that they have done is absolutely incredible. I definitely want to plug them um with this work because God, that the storm work, amazing. Um, but for me, I'd say other than you know her, I'd have to go with Vixen.
Okay.
Vixen, absolutely amazing. And just her abilities being so grounded in nature, her origins being, being coming from an African tribe, even her powers being, connected to African totems. Amazing. I feel like she is an amazing example. Amazing example. Um, Now, for those of you who don't know, Vixen, she has the power in which she has the ability to summon the spirit of any animal on the planet. Any animal on the planet. She has the ability to summon their powers. And so pretty much she summons the power of a rhino, she gets the speed and the strength of a rhino. She summons the power of a cheetah, she gets the speed and agility of a cheetah. So on and so forth. She summons the power of a hawk or an eagle. She can fly, type stuff. And it's just first off, she's absolutely the character is absolutely gorgeous. She's amazingly written. Um, and just the way that she ends up blending into the rest of the universe is amazing. Um, for those who don't know, they've recently, I wouldn't even say recently, they brought her into live action when they did the Arrowverse. Well, actually, what I find pretty cool is they first introduced her in like a little animated short web series that connects into the Arrowverse with Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin playing animated versions of Arrow and Flash. They end up having to team up with her. Um, but yeah, that I find the way they set her up absolutely amazing. And then I will say the way they utilized her later on was a little subpar to me. Because we all know that the Legends of Tomorrow was the show that kind of they threw their flow over characters on. Like the characters they really didn't know how to use anymore. They kind of just threw them all onto Legends of Tomorrow and swapped them out. Which bothers me because they actually ended up doing that with a lot of their black characters. There was always one token the black character in Legends of Tomorrow, which really bothered me so much about that show. When Vixen left, who they bring on? Kid Flash, right? When Kid Flash left, they brought Vixen back, and then when she left again, they brought the actor that played Vixen back, but playing a different character who could shapeshift. So I just felt like that was a little messed up of them to do the way they did that. Um, but yeah. Um, who else you got?
Well, since you brought up legends, here's one.
Who you
Hawkgirl.
got? Ooh, Shire Hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we have the ongoing issue of there being multiple continuities with this character, but I appreciated the whole thing with her being an Egyptian priestess,
Mm-hmm. Me
and I
too.
like the fact that they tied it back to that culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with me personally, um, it was pretty fun the way they ended up doing it. Give me one sec. Let me pull up my stuff.
Now, once again,
All
I'm
right.
not trying to be biased. The one thing that did bother me was that I didn't get the fact that she was an Egyptian priestess, and then Carter was supposed to be. But never mind. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, once again, I'm not the guy. I don't frown at interracial relationships. I don't. But we got to make it make sense, people. I have a hard time believing someone of a fair complexion would have been a ruler in the middle of a country which is predominantly black in a period of time where there have been no fair skinned people. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. A bunch of that didn't make any sense at all to me. For me, I like the the Justice League, the way they did it with for the Justice League. They were pretty much they were alien. They were aliens. From well, what is it?
Thanagar.
Yeah, Thanagar. Yep. Now that I could definitely get behind that. That makes a little bit more sense. Than again, like you said, her being Egyptian and then Carter being just he was a white guy. Whoa. Because again, there's a his origin gets flippity flopped too because there's one where Carter Hall he's actually a uh like an Egyptologist and he ends up getting the powers from the amulet that's kind of like on his like he has like the harness and it has the hawk head in the middle, right? And like he ends up finding that he was like it wasn't like an Egyptologist, he was like a archaeologist, right? It was either Egyptologist or archaeologist. And while on an expedition, he ends up finding the jewel or whatever in his chest. Right? Or am I wrong?
No, you're right. So, and then it's like it flooded his mind with all these memories of all the past lives and everything that happened, and it was supposed to be that was supposed to be that he was receiving the memories of the original Hawkman, who was quote unquote Katar Hall. So he
Oh,
believed that he was a
Qatar. Yeah.
reincarnation.
Mm. Of course, leave it to white men be like, oh yeah, I used to be a black man back in the day.
Sweet Christmas.
Mm.
But yeah, nah. So like I like the way they took the character. I like the things that they did. My only grievance was is that they didn't really get to show her cut loose like the Hawk Girl we knew. Like, if you watched Young Justice or not Young Justice, Justice League, the animated series, or Justice League Unlimited, you saw her swing that mace, it was go time. And the wild part is, like, in my mind, like, whenever I think of Hawk Girl, I go back to that Hawk Girl. Power, you still there?
Was one first off, the mace is made out of nth metal,
Correct.
so it can counteract a lot of different elements of that universe. So when she swung that mace in Justice League, the animated series, and Justice League Unlimited, like you said, shit's coming to the ground. Shit's coming to the ground. I believe her mace had the ability to cancel out magic as well
Yes.
because of the properties of nth metal. Like they had hell, look at what was it? Dark Knight's Metal. Dark Knight's Metal. She was an integral like her role in that was integral because they wouldn't have even known what, because they end up all eventually getting like an nth metal armor, all of the entire Justice League, all nth metal armor to end up that to counteract the, what was it? It was like the the chaos that was bleeding in from the dark dimension that the Dark Justice League had pretty much opened up. And the Batman Who Laughs had opened up. That was the only way they were able to beat him. So without her, they really they would not have been able to defeat the Batman Who Laughs. At least that's the way I see it.
Nah, that makes sense.
Now, and again, yeah, what I loved is seeing her in Justice League and seeing her and her not really fucking with Carter like that and ended up falling in love with John Stewart. That's where it's at for me. That's where it's at for me right there. Now, I don't know, this is something about seeing a strong black woman also be with a strong black man as well.
Yeah, I agree.
There's just something special about that. It just warms my heart to see. And I feel like Carter didn't really appreciate her abilities and her powers as well. Like just the way they wrote, like they were supposed to be together forever and XYZ and stuff like that, but it just got to the point where just like this Carter Hall was just like he was a dick. He was an asshole. He was like so like full of himself. So it got to a point where it's just like yeah, no, it fits the story, and I feel like they wrote her character extremely well. Extremely well.
But
Um
but this is also one of those things that we talked about before, and it's like with her, like we spoke about with Killmonger, she thought of herself as a warrior first. So
yeah,
that
and
right
a
there goes
princess last.
that goes a long way.
Absolutely, definitely, big time. Um, so for me, I feel like talking about like warrior princesses, or at least warrior queens, and that reminds me a lot of the way Valkyrie carries herself. She carried herself more, even when Thor passed on the mantle of King of Asgard to her. Like she's a warrior first.
I
And
I've got
I'm going. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I've got a small grievance with the King mantle. I do.
By all means, let's hear about it. Let's hear about it.
So once again, and this is not me throwing shade at no one of a specific community or anything like that, but
Because we love and hate everyone equally.
you're goddamn right. And I've got friends from all different walks of life. But my thing is like the whole title of king is always been held by a male. So it's like I didn't understand like why she couldn't just be the queen.
Yeah. Why? I don't understand why they did that either. Because I don't see
Like
anything wrong with that. I don't see them. I don't see anything wrong with them making making her queen of Asgard. Because it's like, why can't there be a queen of Asgard? Thor's
like,
mother was a queen of Asgard.
like who's gonna argue with the Valkyrie?
Right. Right.
And I would also like to salute my sister Tessa Thompson because she plays the fuck out of
Mm.
that part.
Oh my gosh, she kills it. Even in the Marvels, she killed it. Like every time we see her pop up, like she delivers. She
Yeah.
always fucking delivers. Um, yeah, I know we're talking about just to jump back real quick. I want to give a shout out to Idris Hodge for playing Hawkman and
Oh yeah.
bringing a black man to Hawkman. just want to give him a shout. I know we're talking about Black Super Queens, but since we were just talking about Shire and Hawk Girl, we got to give a shout out to Idris Hodge, for that one. But I want to take a quick break because I want to give a shout out to some amazing Black creators that have been a godsend to us here at the Super Breakdown. The entire TSB crew, they've been I personally see them as like mentors that have been really helping us a lot along the way. So I just want to give a shout out to Midnight Comics. And so let's just take a quick minute to hear a little bit from them, shall we?
What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchups. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
And again, like he said, midnight is coming. These guys are, Atlanta, Georgia's first and only Black family independent comic book creators. All their characters are Black. They have some amazing characters. And honestly, since we're talking about Black Super Queens, we got to talk about their characters, Admani and the Gray. Some amazing Black characters they are starting, that they have created. Admani is essentially a fire starter, but her powers go way beyond that of a fire starter, way beyond that of Pyro from X-Men. You guys, I absolutely recommend check them out. Midnight Comics, absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. We will be plugging their links into our link tree. Find them on Instagram, absolutely amazing. In the Gray, she's a super genius who has created the ability of miniature black holes. So she has the ability to pretty much, when she hits someone, it's literally getting hit with a miniature black hole. So I definitely want to give a shout out to those two amazing characters created by two amazing Black comic book creators. Absolutely amazing. Again, like I said, shout out to Midnight Comics for the work that they've done and the work that they are doing, especially with the indie breakdown, breaking down independent artists' characters. The same way we break down mainstream characters is what they do on an independent character level. Absolutely amazing. Check it out. Patreon and Spotify, and later pops up on YouTube. Absolutely amazing. Now, from another character for me that I feel like kind of really stands out above the rest, and yeah, and at the same, we've recently seen her quite a few times in live action, a Marvel character, and I still don't know what they still haven't given her a name, but I'll go. Who I'm about to talk about, Miss Monica Rambeau.
Boo. Boo. Said the kid in the
They
back.
they wait, what? What?
Boo.
um
Boo.
like they just I love the character, don't love the way they portray her powers. Me personally, I just don't like the way they have portrayed her powers and haven't really given her enough character growth at all. And with that, if you want to boo at Spectrum, then let's talk about Binary.
Listen, we can boo that one too, as far as I'm concerned.
They haven't honestly yet. You know what? Yeah, I'll go with that, just because even in the comic books they really didn't develop Binary very well. They really did not develop her character very well. But again, I'm talking about Binary in the MCU because Binary in the comics is still Carol. I said Carl. I was about to say Carl. Carl. No, Binary in Binary in the actual comic books is still Carol Danvers. That's the whole Rogue versus Captain Marvel kind of thing. That shit made no sense. They try to evolve Carol's character a little bit, and they failed horribly on it. But in the MCU, Binary is black, and she works with the X-Men, and we really haven't seen her in action yet. So I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off my opinions on her until until we get to see her in action later on. But yeah, I'll hold off. Now, my problem with the spectrum of the with Spectrum in the MCU, they have not like geared her at all. Like in Marvels, they like they used her to carry the plot so heavy, and I feel like it did a disservice to the character because I feel like we've seen it before. They'll take a comic book character that pretty much is like nobody cares about whatsoever, nobody even knows about, i.e., look what they did with the Guardians. Bro, I went me and my boys went to see the first Guardians movie on premiere day by accident. We didn't care who the Guardians of the Galaxy were.
No one did.
So that I've no one did. But after that movie, phew, damn sure everyone cared. So we've seen them be able to take obscure ass characters and make them awesome and make everyone care about them. So why can't we do that about with Spectrum? Why can't we do that with a black character? Hmm? Huh? Mickey Mouse? Huh? Disney? Tell me. Why can't we do that with a black character? Why can't we take an obscure black character and make them awesome? Hmm?
Well,
Like,
hold on. Let's not throw a whole bunch of shade at the mouse just yet, because the mouse has done some characters justice within the MCU who are black, who technically have been built up a lot better than what they have more in recent years, in my opinion. One being such as Misty Knight.
would you really call that building up? And honestly, I don't attribute that to the mouse. I don't attribute that to the mouse. I'm not giving the mouse that. That was Netflix. That was Netflix writers that did that. That
Oh,
wasn't Disney and Marvel writers. That was
excuse me.
Netflix writers.
You're technically correct. Yes, you are right.
Yeah, don't give the mouse anything like that. Especially now with the bullshit they've been pulling lately. Majority of the mouse's Marvel stuff has been flopping lately.
That's because they're not storytelling; they're pushing agendas.
Thank you. Agenda bell rang. Ding 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 ding.
Well, hold on.
A-
Back to my girl Misty Knight real quick. Now,
Absolutely, we love Misty. It's point out we love Misty.
we're talking about a former NYPD officer who loses their arm actually in a bomb threat. Excuse me, in a not a bomb threat, but in an explosion. Has her arm replaced with Stark Tech, not Rand Tech, like they did in the Netflix series. But I'll let it slide because it was Danny Rand. Yo, did you know that
Mm-hmm.
Misty? Did you know that Misty Knight and Danny Rand were actually a couple?
Yes. Yes. Yep. Again, another disservice. But no. I'll take that back. I'll reserve that. I'll take that back.
They had
I'll take that back.
they had the first interracial kiss between between two mainstream comic book superheroes.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I took back what I said, because I'm like, nope, that's progress, that's progression right there. So I'll definitely, because I don't want to become Power Farrakhan this episode. I do not want my Power Farrakhan to come out. But no, that right there, that's definitely progress, and I love it because Danny Rand in the comics was fucking dope. Iron Fist in the comics is dope. He's a good character, not necessarily in the show, but yeah. So I'll give them that. I just love the way, let's stay on the comic book. Let's stay on the comic book version of her first. Let's stay on the comic books. Let's break her down. Break her down. Let's go.
So Misty Knight is the hard nosed detective who was working in New York City, and then she actually frequently winds up working with Colleen Wing, who she basically forms like a partnership with, and they sometimes work in conjunction with Danny Rand, Luke Cage, who are known as the Heroes for Hire, as a unit. The thing I didn't know till recently is that she's actually part of the Valkyries.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Really, Misty?
Yeah, she's an honorary Valkyrie.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Okay. Hmm. I did not know that. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Okay. 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 I fucks with that. I fucks with that big time. Because it definitely makes sense. Because like she she may not be as guardian, but she is a fucking warrior. She's
Right?
still a fucking warrior. Her ability to be able to keep up with characters like Luke Cage, who are extremely strong and endurable and shit like that. Yeah, damn, yeah, bro. She throws down with the big guns. I fucks with that heavy, dude. Damn. I would love to see that in live action. That would be fucking dope. Oh. Now, wasn't she supposed to be like the way like when they created her character, there was a certain like let's say personality that they were trying to give her, kind of like funky Foxy Brown kind of thing going on. Um, while
I
also,
would,
again, like I said, being the hard ass detective, no kind of shit. She's there to get the job done as well, kind of thing, right?
yes, I would definitely say that she was supposed to be the Foxy Brown S type character.
Absolutely, definitely, absolutely. Because and even in Luke Cage, we see her like still take no shit. She's able to run into these situations like, no, no, this is the way we doing it. This is how we doing it. I don't give a damn what kind of powers you got, how strong you are. She's still throwing down. Man, I remember when she was first learning how to use her arm. She was gonna punch the dude in the chest. Man, listen, dude was running, punch him right in the chest. Bang! Who you think you're talking to? Oh, oh no, Pat, shut up. Power, don't go there. Don't go there, Power. Don't go there. I just want to. I got to ask you a question because my memory is a little off. I haven't watched Luke Cage in a while. I'm gonna go back and rewatch it.
Mm-hmm.
Did her and Luke go for coffee before or after she got her arm?
Before,
She went for coffee with Luke Cage before she had her bionic right arm.
correct.
Yeah. She a warrior. She a warrior. Yep. She went for coffee with Luke Cage without the bionic arm.
Jesus Christ.
Sweet Christmas. Now imagine what happens after she get the arm.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm not sure.
You know exactly where I'm going. That's why you laughing. You know exactly where I'm going with this.
Oh God.
You're not gonna catch me when I turn into maximum overdrive.
Jesus.
I wonder what functions the arm has.
Oh my God.
Oh man. But no, I love Missy Knight's character. I love the way she's portrayed both in the comic books and in live action. Oh my god, I just feel like pinnacle of black excellence right there. Pinnacle of black excellence right there. It's so it's amazing. Um, let's see. For me, see, I don't know too much about this character. Maybe you do, Bumblebee. I don't know too much about her character. She's supposed to be like I don't even know what universe she's in. Is Bumblebee um DC Teen Titans? Bumblebee?
Oh yeah. I'm about to say
Yeah, I think
you're
yeah.
you said Bumblebee, and my mind immediately went to Transformer. Sorry.
Transfer. Oh, of course, yeah, exactly. That's the one thing I was expecting everyone to think of. But yeah, um, we see her. She ends up becoming part of Teen Titans. West Coast Teen Titans.
Yes.
Yeah, she ends up. Yeah, with the two little brothers, the plus and minus. Plus or minus. I don't know. I forget their names.
I want to say it was
Um,
Monster Minnows.
Mas and Minnows. Yeah, Minnows and Mas. Yep. Um, Yeah, I love her character too. I wish they had did a little more with her. Like we see more of her in Teen Titans Go. In the later episodes of Teen Titans Go, she actually becomes a part of the a solid part of the team. Um I wish they did a little bit more with her character. I would love to see more. She was pretty much supposed to be DC's equivalent to Wasp from Marvel.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, she could, she can shrink. She still had the zappy guns and stuff like that. Um, but I definitely wish they would have had did a little bit more with her character because I would have loved to see more of that. Like she had leader, but she was the leader of the West Coast
Yes.
Titans. Yeah, so she definitely had those leadership qualities and leadership abilities and stuff like that, which I absolutely love, and especially seeing a woman of color in a position of power and a leadership position. Wow, amazing to me. It's like I eat that shit up. I love it.
Yes. So, with her, if memory serves me correctly, she was a student. I believe they touched on this briefly in Young Justice that she was a student of Doctor Palmer, who is the Atom,
Adam, yep.
and that she actually had to design her suit and her tech along with him.
Okay, so not only is she leadership, she has not only is she a leader, but she's also incredibly smart as well.
Yeah, she's actually a very um world renowned scientist.
See, that's shit. That's even better. That's even better. Um, that reminds me a lot of Riri as well. She's highly intelligent. Those leadership mentalities as well. Um, and just her being able to build, she's able to build her own tech.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know who he's talking about, he is talking about Riri Williams, who is known as Iron Heart in the comics. We saw her in Wakanda Forever back
I
in
wish they would have did more
2022.
with her.
I think that they are. I just think that that was the introduction to her character. Where that's definitely, I'd
Yeah.
be very surprised if that's the last time we've seen her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no way she has because I feel like all right. So where Tony left off with his
Fuck Iron
nanotech
Man.
bleeding. Oh my god. Yeah. All right. Yes. But I feel like her suit is way more advanced than even his, you know, nanotech suit, especially being made out of vibranium. Her entire suit is made out of vibranium.
Yeah, well, Shuri wouldn't let her keep it, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, she's gonna go. It's gonna get to a situation where they're gonna be like, "Yo, listen, I need that suit," and they're gonna be like, "All right, use the suit." You know what I mean? Because there's so her suit compared to where Tony left off with the nanotech, essentially His nano suit was technically his bleeding edge suit from the comic books. So I kind of feel like, yeah, it was a nano suit, but its level of durability was very lackluster compared to where Riri's Wakandan, vibranium suit is. Like, that suit could literally take hits for days and not have a scratch on it. Not and as a character, for her to be, first off, she's only in college. Only in college. I think it's like what her. She's like what a sophomore in college.
Honestly, I cannot remember what grade she was in, or excuse me, what year she was in. But yes, she was depicted as being brilliant.
And I think even in the comic books, she was younger, but she was going to MIT.
Mm. And another thing
So
I
the
think that's
character,
really cool.
yeah.
Another thing I think that's really cool is the fact that she's from Chicago.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that too, big time, big time. So the way they portrayed her in the comic book, she had to be maybe like 16, 17 maybe in the comics, maybe a little bit younger, and she was going to MIT. And then in the live action, the way they portrayed her, she was a bit older. She was like early 20s. Was it still MIT?
What's up with the Marvel characters and go to MIT?
I don't know. Well, I guess also back then MIT was like the best, biggest. It still is, but I feel like this right now, in reality, MIT is probably the second. There's a lot of it's probably still up there. It's probably still number one, but I feel like there's a lot of other Black Ivy League schools out there as well that their their tech departments are getting there, are starting to really blow MIT out of the water. So at the time when these characters were created, MIT is the top of the line for science and technology, because you couldn't get any better. What it doesn't MIT stand for, like math, intelligence, technology, and Institute of Technology, some shit like that.
Mm.
So that they're like literally top of the line. There's no one. It was no one better at the time when they were creating these characters. So MIT, that was it. So that's probably why a lot of them went to MIT. Because if you even catch our last episode, we were talking about Killmonger, and the fact that he graduated MIT, top of his class too. Mm. That would have been really cool if they had Eric and Riri going to MIT at the same time. That would have been crazy. That would have been a really cool kind of connection that they had there. That would have been really cool. Who else comes to mind when you think of Black super queens?
Well, and this is going to be me being a little biased.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm that guy, a truly perfect villain. I would like to shed light on the late great Eartha Kitt playing Catwoman.
Damn. Right there. On the fucking money. On the nose. Right. Yes. Absolutely. And right there, that's also that's Black history right there. Her alone. Black history. Amazing. Like, not
Very,
just
very talented, beautiful woman.
amazing, both as a music artist and as an actor. Oh, and voice actor. For all you don't know, Eartha Kitt also played Yzma in Emperor's New Groove and countless other characters. Like, oh my god, amazing. Yeah, her portrayal of Catwoman. Oh my god, Amazing.
I think, in
Now,
my
for those who don't
opinion.
know, she. Go ahead.
Now you go ahead.
So those who don't know, she portrayed Catwoman in the Adam West TV series of, Batman, alongside I always forget his last name, Romero.
Caesar.
I always Caesar. I always forget his first name. I always remember his last name, Caesar Romero, who was who was the first Hispanic Joker. So we are everywhere, people. We are everywhere. Black history is connected to absolute everything. Quick little fun Black history fun fact. Did you know that the folding chair was created by a black man?
I did
His name was
actually.
Nathaniel Alexander. So, as we all know, that it all comes full circle. The folding chair was created by a black man, and it's out here to this day, serving up racial justice, fighting against racial injustice. Like,
Oh my
I just
god.
find that full circle. For those who know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the Alabama brawl. I'm talking about the Alabama brawl. My man came out of nowhere. Stone Cold with the chair. Bang! Yes. Yes. You watch wrestling. We watch wrestling. That folding chair is a pinnacle in wrestling. So when I watch wrestling and I see a black wrestler pick up that chair and put it to someone's back, it just makes me so damn happy. So goddamn happy. Not to mention, majority of the shit that we have today were from black inventors. The refrigerator, the modern refrigerator, black person. We use that every day. Every single day. A refrigerator is in every single household damn near across the world. Because there's some places I'm not gonna say all the way across the world, because some places they don't have refrigerators. But like, it blows my mind.
Listen,
Jeff, you know what people go ahead?
it doesn't just stop there. It's the air conditioner, it's the elevator, it's the folding bed. I mean, shit, peanut butter, the traffic light.
Peanut butter. Like oh my god. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Damn, I had one. I just had one. I
Keychain,
literally
the
in
ice
for
cream scoop, uh,
mm-hmm.
the mailbox.
Damn, I just had one and it just slipped my mind. Oh yes. What do
The
people use
electric
in the
guitar.
summertime? Yeah, oh, right there. And to see electric guitar get in the hands of Jimi Hendrix, man, listen. Full circle. The hands of Prince, full circle.
Purple Rain, baby.
Purple Rain. What do people use in the summertime when it's hot out? They want to have some fun with the kids. They use
The air
the
conditioner.
Super Soaker. The Super Soaker.
The Super Soaker.
Yep.
Oh, it was created by a black man. Ah, you're right.
Yep. And that same black man, after he created the Super Soaker, created the Nerf gun. The same black man who created the Super Soaker created the Nerf gun. Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. This world would not be the same without black people. And this is why Black History Month, Black history needs to be celebrated year round. Year round. Like the list goes on. The list goes on. Like amazing. We're talking about Black queens. Look at Harriet Tubman. Like the pinnacle of Black queens being warriors, strong, brave, going up against an entire nation at the time, damn near, to free her people. Like,
She never did wind up on a $20 bill.
seriously. Seriously, that blows my fucking mind, bro. Blows my fucking mind, dude. Black queens, Rosa Parks, and countless others. Countless others. Like, it just, like, whew. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here getting a little emotional just thinking about it. Fucking, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I love, and the amount of Black female inventors as well goes unnoticed. It really does. It really does. The amount of Black women that were a part of that were women's rights activists, civil rights activists. Black women have been on the front lines for fucking everything, everything. And again, like when we first started this episode, I said this world would not be the same without Black women, and I feel like they do not get the roses as much as they should.
Mhm.
They definitely do not get the roses as much as they should. And speaking of Black women that are doing absolutely amazing things, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to Lady Mandalore, who is the creator of Room Full of Blurs, which actually is currently on right now. Well, actually, her show just ended on Twitch. She's created a safe haven for Black content creators to come together and talk about their love for the art of comic books, manga, and just you know being able to be blurs. So I want to give a shout out. You know what? Let's let her talk about it. Let's give her a moment to talk about her show.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Room Full of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Again, I would have liked to get her on the show for this episode, but again, like I said, she has her own show that she does, and it just so happens to be at the same time we start our show. So unfortunately, we had a little bit of a scheduling conflict there, but we definitely want to get her on the show as well. Again, check her out on Instagram, Room Full of Blurs. Same thing on YouTube, on Twitch. Amazing, absolutely amazing. The amount of guests that she has on her show on a regular basis is absolutely amazing. I believe this whole month, on her show, she told me this whole month they've actually been going over the origins and the history of Storm. I believe her last few episodes have been going through the X-Men Red comic book storyline. So that's pretty awesome. Again, go check her out. Go absolutely check out her stuff. It's absolutely amazing. It's amazing. It's super fun. It's super fun to watch as well. I've definitely peeped a few episodes. Absolutely amazing. Now who else comes to mind when we speak about these black super queens? Let's see. Again, like I want to save her for the end, but
Oh well, we're both Black Lightning fans,
yeah. That
and
was absolutely amazing. So let's let's get into it. Let's get into it. Thunder and Lightning, amazing.
Anissa and
Let's
Jennifer
break those
Pierce.
characters down. Yeah, let's break them down. Anissa and Jennifer.
So they are both second generation.
Mhm.
Oh, they are both second generation heroes. The children of Black Lightning, who is an honorary member, who has been an honorary member of both the Justice Society and the Justice League. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I actually like Thunder more than Lightning.
Me too.
Well,
I definitely I would say that. Me too.
now, because I was very big into the Outsiders when I first started reading comics, and that was like when I
Mm-hmm.
first got introduced to Black Lightning and into Thunder. So that's one of the reasons why it is for me. And also, I love her portrayal in the TV series.
Oh, absolutely. Like for me, I feel like her character was so. Again, I brought up. It's interesting that I just brought up Harriet Tubman because like a nickname that they have for her is Harriet, because
Yeah,
she's such a hardcore. She's definitely social justice, big time. She's always fighting against the establishment, and
played by the talented.
mhm,
What's it? Played by the talented Nafisa Williams.
mhm, love it. Yeah, the way they portrayed her character was so fucking strong. Not just based off her powers and her abilities, but like this the character's state of mind. She was very strong about, these are her standpoints, this is her opinion, and she's gonna stand on that. And
Hmm.
I feel like that goes for both of their characters, both Thunder and Lightning, um, on different wavelengths. But at the end of the day, when it came to their opinions and what they wanted to do, they stood on that. They definitely stood on that. Let's break down Thunder's powers.
So in the show, she's described as a density shifter. So
Mm-hmm.
she can harden her density by holding her breath, which allowed her to become invulnerable and super strong. Now, I always thought it was interesting that she couldn't decrease her density; that she could only increase it.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah, I always thought that was interesting. So it's like she could her power only work the one way, but it's like when you saw her do it, and then like the way she did things with it, because like I remember I was showing the show to my cousin, and she was like, when she takes that deep breath to like activate her power, and she was like,
Mm-hmm.
how that was, she felt that was a little too flamboyant, but I was like, that's not for them, that's for us.
Mm-hmm.
That like we know when she takes that breath, it's go time.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that she had to learn to hold her breath for so long, because her powers only work when she's holding her breath, which I felt like that was a bit of a little annoying caveat to her powers. But I always like when creators they don't just make their characters just powerful and overpowered. They always make a caveat. Like with Black Lightning, he has to wear his suit because his body generates too much electricity. So his suit helps conduct and disperse his lightning. So there's always a caveat to their powers and abilities. So it's a bit of a cheesy caveat, but it makes sense, you know. But the fact that she's trained herself to hold her breath for so long,
Right.
it's that shit's so fucking dope. So that means she has to also be an excellent swimmer as well. So she can literally be in a situation where she has to submerge herself, but it's perfect because like, all right, well, she has to hold her breath now. But now she's also incredibly powerful for any kind of like submerged attacks as well. Because it just increase her density, but within increasing her density increases her strength as well.
Yeah, that's not one of them scenarios where I think I'd play that out, but I see where you're going with that.
No, I can definitely see the bad guy thinks they have the upper hand. She ends up getting knocked into like the river nearby or ocean nearby. He thinks, haha, she's down for the count. He diverts his attention to fight, and lightning or whatever other soup is going on is fighting at the time. She fucking jumps out the water, still holding her breath, and cracks him one. Like
Mhm.
she like with that like with in a scenario like that, she definitely has a strong element of surprise, which is pretty fucking awesome to me. Mm. Now, I like the way that they show her going through that rebellious stage of like, nah, these are my powers. I'm gonna use my powers how I feel I need to use them. We see her knocking down Confederate statues using her powers. We see her, going against drug cartels and drug dealers with her powers and gangbangers with her powers. Um, which I find fucking awesome as well. You know, um, just like her character is so strong. Even without her powers, she was a force. She was a force to be reckoned with. Now, when we talk about thunder, we got to talk about lightning. Let's talk about lightning and the way her powers manifest. And again, I believe she still has a caveat as well. She has the same caveat that her dad has. Her body. So while if I remember the way they explained it in the show, while Jefferson can conduct electricity and generate electricity, lightning is a generator. She can generate the electricity. She's a battery, in a sense.
Yes.
Which I didn't necessarily completely understand the full difference between being a battery and being a generator.
Well, I took it as where
Um.
Jefferson has to pull the electricity out of the air, and he basically uses his body to absorb
Oh.
and redirect it, opposed to her who just creates it.
Oh, you're right. I forgot that part about Jefferson. Yeah, he has to pull the electrons out of the air. Oh, and then conducts it that way. And then like you said, her body just continuously creates it.
Hmm.
I forgot about that. Like I said, I love it. There's these little caveats to their powers and their abilities. While she creates it, he has to pull it from an outside source. While Anissa is super strong, but she has to hold her breath for her powers to be active. I
Correct.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it. I love it. Um now now when we see Jen, like her mentality is, once she's young, So she's still very rowdy and rambunctious, while opposed to Anissa, she's very. I wouldn't say she's not rowdy or rambunctious, but she's at that stage in her life where she's rowdy and rambunctious about what she wants. You know what I'm saying? She's strong minded and she's kind of like honed in on what she wants. On the other hand, while we see Jen, she's like, "You want the smoke? I'll give you the smoke. You want to play games? I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you what you want." Type shit. While Anissa's on the other hand, like, nah, that's not a fight. That's not a battle that I need to fight. She's able to pick her battles a lot. She picks her battles a lot easier, a lot more strategic than Jen does. Jen's with the smoke. I don't give a damn how strong you supposedly say you are, motherfucker. I am lightning. I would have loved to hear her, use Static's line. I'll put a shock to your system. Stop playing with me. Type. Yeah, I would have loved that. I would love to see and hear that. That would have been awesome. That would have been really, really fun. Now we see these characters work a lot together in tandem together. Um Now, what is your standpoint on them in live action? I know you said you love the way they portrayed Anissa. How do you feel about the way they portrayed Jen?
Uh, so okay, when it comes to Jennifer's portrayal, I appreciate the fact that they showed they basically were two sides to the same coin to me, because you had
Hmm.
Anissa, who was a little bit older, who was more goal oriented, who was more focused on developing and going further and doing what she needed to do, opposed to Jennifer, who was extremely, extremely rambunctious, was was over times extremely outspoken, was overly aggressive at
Hmm.
certain situations. But at the same time, I think that it was one of those things where it was cool because you got to see how the modern day kid would feel if they found out their dad was, Black Jesus.
Like Jesus. That's and had it and they never and finding out that they were never told about this. Pretty much finding out your father has his whole secret life that no one that he's been keeping to himself this whole time. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I love that. I definitely see that. Now, a character that doesn't really get talked about too much for me that bothers me is Natasha Irons.
Natasha Irons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm buckled in. Go ahead.
You don't know Natasha Irons? Starlight, S- Steele's daughter.
Like I said, I'm buckled in. Take me away.
All right, so Natasha Irons, she first appeared in the pages of Steel, and those who don't know who Steel is, he is essentially uh Black Superman, but he has his powers based off of the suit that he has. Imagine Superman and Iron Man put together. Don't want to hear it. 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 Okay, I know. I know. I know.
Okay,
I got to be
so
careful when anytime I mention
the cunt in the shiny.
the man in the China condom. Yes. Um.
Okay, but
Uh. But
so
what was
John Henry.
that?
That's a quick side note for all those that don't know. John John
Mm-hmm.
Henry was an employer at was an employee at LexCorp. He was one of the heads of the
Mm-hmm.
weapons division, designing next gen weapons for Lex. It was after meeting Superman and having an incident with him where he saved his life that he started to begin to develop his own suit to protect his own neighborhood.
Again, another Black Jesus. Gotta love it. Now, she was regularly involved. She regularly involved herself in the adventures of, well, for let me so in Superman and Lois, the TV show, they made Natasha his daughter, but in the comic books, she's his niece. So pretty much, a lot of the time she's made herself made herself a part of his adventures. Um, but now I believe it was like Action Comics number 806. Natasha gains access to to the steel armor and comes to Superman's aid when he's injured by by like I think it was like magic ninjas or something.
What?
Like so, yeah, yeah. So and we all know that one of Superman's weaknesses is magic. Um,
Those ninjas.
but after yeah, and ninjas, yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone. Um, but after that, like she like aided her uncle from time to time. Uh, and at the beginning of like it was like the weekly series for the New 52, still found her kind of like youthful and exuberant surrounding hero work, kind of like unbecoming of someone worthy of the role. So he took back her armor and told her to work at becoming like a costume crime fighter on. So it's like, you're not using my shit no more. You do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? So now she was pissed at this. So she soon ended up she ended up falling in with Lex, kind of the same way that when he originally worked for Lex. But Lex ended up creating his own team of superpowered heroes to replace the then missing Superman. So imbued with this super strength, flight, and like hard light energy, Natasha ended up becoming Starlight, not Starlight from The Boys, but her own version, and pretty much founded a new incarnation of Infinity Inc. under on Lex's dollar. Yeah. So there's a lot there's a lot in there to unpack with her character. But now convinced that Lex was up to no good, still pleaded with Natasha to kind of like reject Luther's created abilities. But it wasn't until the death of her team member Trajectory that Natasha actually began like investigating Lex, and she ends up uncovering a conspiracy that threatened to actually destroy the entire city. um so that I feel like, yeah, she doesn't really get talked about too much. um and I find that kind of fucked up, because it's like, damn, like she has a lot of power and ability. And like we see her end up getting her own suit in the similar fashion in and Superman and Lois, which the show fell off. I'm just gonna say, like, the show fell off. Superman and Lois fell off, which pisses me off because it started out good, like all the rest of the Arrow shows. But they just stopped really believing in it later on. But you know what? I will say this. I didn't finish. I haven't finished the show yet. I haven't watched the last season. Because I'm not a big fan of actor changes and them swapping out actors without a good explanation in the show. So speaking about Lightning just now, the way they did it in the show didn't bother me too much, because it made sense. They made it make sense within the show. Because the actor that played Lightning in Black Lightning was China McClain. Um, she needed to take a break from the show due to some personal issues. So what they did is they temporarily in the story, they had her pretty much, they had been warning her to take it easy with using her powers, because she's going to build up power too much and she could actually explode and die. Um, Again, being rowdy and rambunctious and like not really taking heed to any of her elders, you know, um advice, she ends up saying fuck that, goes off, flies off in space, and ends up running into this cosmic electrical storm. Couldn't find out it wasn't really an electrical storm, it was actually a whole other cosmic being or whatever. So she ends up blowing up, but when they end up having to go out there and gathering her ions or whatever. And when they put her back together, she ain't look the same. She ain't look the same. She was a whole different act. They had got a whole different actor to play Lightning for, what was it, like, it was about like 4 episodes.
It was the rest of the
But
season from that point on to the finale.
to the finale of the show, of the series or the season.
Of the season. Both. Because that happens in season 4.
Yeah, it was like the beginning of season 4. Was it really for the rest of the, and they brought her back at the end?
Yeah. After that whole thing happens, like where her body gets dissipates, they have Jefferson go up there. He gathers up her ions. He brings them back down. They put them in the machine, and when she reforms, she looks different. And then, for some reason, if I can't remember why, they wound up going back up there, and then like the version of Jennifer that really was the actual Jennifer reformed and came back down to Earth.
Oh yeah, and they fought. Oh yeah, I remember now. And they ended up fighting, and she's like, "Nah, ain't nobody better than me," and boom, ends up dispersing the cosmic entity that had pretty much taken physical form. Oh, I remember. God, they could have ended that a lot better. But yeah, so after China had, handled the personal issues, she came back, and then she finished out the rest of the series, which when you it just it just bothers me that they canceled. James Gunn, you better do good. You better fucking do good. Because if he doesn't, it's a situation where it's like all you had to do was follow the train, CJ.
Jesus Christ.
All they needed, because James Gunn, like, he comes in and he just pretty much wipes everything out. He doesn't just wipe out the bad, but he wipes out all the good shit that they had going on as well. Like, granted, Arrowverse had fallen off, but they could have revived it by being smart and following the blueprint that had already been set in front of them,
You're not wrong.
and just taking the Arrowverse and putting it on the big screen. But he want to come in and he want to just clean slate everything and just nuke it, just boom, just scorched earth. So this Superman Legacy movie better be fucking good, because he's the one that's writing it. Like, because when you come in and you're like, the executive producer of a lot of stuff, you're not the one necessarily that's writing that's writing whatever it is that you're producing. A lot of times you majority of the time you're producing shit that other people have written and making it look good. But Superman Legacy is specifically something that he is a part of the writing for. He's a part of the writing, he's a part of the casting, all that.
I was not aware.
Like, damn. Yeah, that's his brainchild. That one is specifically his baby. But all you had to do was follow the train, CJ. You had the blueprint. All you had to do was just take what was there and put it on the big screen and add your amazing expertise to what you had. His thing is he wants the voice actors to be the same people, the voice actors of the animated stuff to be the same physical actors in live action. So he can connect the animated to the live action and the shows to the movies and stuff like that, which is just like all I needed to do was just take what you had in the show and had the live action actors voice act the animated, because that's what they already did. Like I said, when we talked about Vixen, that's what they did. The Stephen Amell, Grant Gustin, they voice acted Flash and Arrow.
Perfectly.
The amazing actress who played Vixen, who voiced Vixen in the web series, is also the one who played Vixen in the show. So they had already been doing that. And I say all this because like I would love to see that continuation, because I feel like Black Lightning had so much more to give. It had a lot more to give.
Shit, we had a whole painkiller show that got canceled.
Don't get me started on that. That pissed me off. The fact that they completely scrapped that before it even had a chance. That whole episode, essentially that painkiller episode, was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, that bothered me heavy. Now, a character that I feel like that they recently, oh my god, I feel like they've recently given her so much more. And I know I'm gonna know you're gonna go off on this one, is Icon. Like I feel like in the way, oh my god, the shit that they did with Icon in Young Justice was great. Was so good. So like was amazing. Like, so for those who don't know, Icon, she is we talked a little bit about her in our first episode of Black History Month of the month, which was Static Shock. She is like Static Shock, she's a Milestone character. So in the world of Milestone,
You're thinking
Superman.
of Rock.
Oh my bad, Rocket. Why did I say Icon? I meant Rocket. Rocket and Icon, they work together. I meant Rocket. My bad. My apologies. So wait a minute. Right? Am I thinking of the right person?
Yeah, you said the one that you're talking about, the one from Young Justice.
Yes.
The one who's Icon's partner. Yes.
Yeah, Rocket. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So all right. So I'm not bugging. I'm not bugging. All right. Yeah. No, so in the world of Milestone, Superman's closest equivalent is the hero known as Icon. Right. He's strong, fast, virtually invulnerable. Icon. He shares the Man of Steel. Icon both shares the Man of Steel's adoration for the public and his also extraterrestrial kind of origin. Pretty much, he's a lot like he's Black Superman. Now, there's how do I put this? However, that's kind of like where the similarities end. You know, both him being damn near invulnerable, he loves the public, and being an alien. That's where they end. the differences only serve to challenge the superhero genre. Uh, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, the best way to say this. Pretty much, in layman's terms, he's Superman, but not Superman. He's black, but like Superman, he also has a sidekick, and that would be his teenage partner Raquel, aka Rocket. So now, because again, we can't talk about Rocket without talking about Icon, who's another awesome black hero and black character. Um, now again, so Icon wouldn't be Icon if it weren't for Raquel. And so, inspired by seeing the hero take flight during a botched home invasion with her then boyfriend Noble, Raquel saw an opportunity for the successful attorney Augustus Freeman the Fourth, I believe it was, to become an inspiration for the downtrodden, kind of like in the hometown of Dakota. Because for those who don't know, Milestone, all Milestone characters take place in Dakota. It's also known as, it's called the Dakotaverse. So she came to him with the idea of Icon and Rocket. The two became like costume crime fighting duo, making their presence known to the to the greater Dakota. But the series really found its heart, in my eyes, kind of like after their first adventure, when Icon's alien sense informed him that, air quotes, that his prodigy was pregnant. This is where it gets interesting, and this is a part where I feel like they did amazingly in Young Justice. They absolutely amazing writing. I believe it was the last season of Young Justice. We see a lot of her, which was a phenomenal season. If you haven't watched Young Justice, go fucking watch Young Justice. Absolutely fucking amazing.
That was actually one of my beefs initially with this series because they brought her in at the end of the first season, and then by season two, she's part of the Justice League, and you didn't
Yeah,
like her.
yeah. Now, and that also bothered me as well, because it's like we like she's in the first two seasons, so it's like, how does she become a part of the league before anyone else in Young Justice? Like, she was a part of the league even before Robin became Nightwing. Before Tim became Nightwing, she was a part of the league. So now, give us. I'll ask you this, since you know a lot more about the character than I do as well. Where give us a breakdown of her powers and her abilities.
So this is actually one of the funny things that's actually shown is that she has the ability to manipulate kinetic energy through a belt that she wears around her waist.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the way she manipulated the kinetic energy was always it was I don't know. Like I felt like it was just downplayed so heavily and it wasn't done well to me.
Mm.
Like I feel like there was so much more potential for what she could have done that we just never got the chance to see it.
How so?
Because it's like you figure she uses like her force bubbles to like entrap people or to immobilize things or to lift things, but it's like I'm not sure if it's one of those things where it was specific to the character or if it was just the way it wasn't done. Like for example, say she encased herself in a force field that was kinetic energy,
Mm-hmm.
and every time
Yeah.
it got struck, that would just make it stronger.
Yes.
So could she in turn to redirect that kinetic energy in one of her punches?
Yeah. That would make sense. The more she got hit, the stronger she got.
Or could she use the kinetic energy to make herself run faster?
and then the kinetic energy of her running would just boost it and make it even faster, make her even faster.
Correct.
So pretty much you're saying they didn't really capitalize on the full extent of kinetic abilities, because you're seeing other characters with the same kind of ability, the pretty much to redirect kinetic energy. Now, honestly, that would, damn, wow, I see what you're saying. He dropped the ball on that one then. Damn. Hmm. Yeah, that would have made it, and I see why they didn't, because I also would have made her pretty much fucking unbeatable. It's like the Juggernaut. Once he gets moving, it's hard to stop him because of him generating that kinetic energy. Damn, she would be able to survive a fall. Damn, oh my god. Because now I'm just thinking about the power that she would be able to put behind that punch, depending on who she's fighting.
Right?
Yeah, so she'd be able to physically. I can kind of see her, the full extent of her power, her being able to go blow for blow with Superman. Just being able to take that kinetic energy of his hits and redirecting it. Every time she throws a forceful up, he hits it, she absorbs that kinetic energy that he just hit, that he just sent towards her, and throws it back at him in one punch. Damn. Wow, she can actually so she would essentially be able to pretty much stack that too. Forceful for every time Superman hit her shield, that would just stack on top of each other. And then that her unleashing all that kinetic energy in one punch would be fucking devastating. And I could see it as kind of like in the situations that would be applicable to is fucking endless.
Right? Because I feel like the whole thing with her being able to manipulate an energy, that's such a broad power that just wasn't tapped on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Big time. Big time.
And don't
Cause
get
like she could end up being like their kind of like their last ditch effort. Let's say, they've been getting, the Justice League has been getting their ass kicked for a minute now. And let's say Superman's down, he's kind of drained, but she's still got power to stand. She throws up a force field behind her and just has the rest of the Justice League use the last bit of their energy that they have to just absolutely just hammer her shield, which is just powering her up. And the last ditch effort to take down the villain is her pretty much hitting him with a punch that is backed by the force of the entire Justice League. That's fucking broken. That is fucking broken. Hmm. That would be. Yeah, they most definitely dropped the ball on that with her. Now let's talk about Storm. Let's talk about Storm. Talk about somebody with a tremendous amount of potential. Let's talk about Storm. Give me Storm. Let's take it away with Storm.
being the Wind Rider, one of the second class of mutants to join the X-Men, second in command on the field behind Cyclops, with the ability to control and manipulate the elements of the weather.
We're talking about the goddess of the storm, the woman that was literally held as a goddess in her home, like a woman who on a bad day, if she was just upset and having a bad day, could literally throw the world into a second ice age. and keep it there. Bring it back, and then put it back in another Ice Age.
Yeah, you piss
And
off
if
the
my
wind.
memories, what was that?
I said, yeah, if you piss off the Wind Rider, you'll definitely regret it.
Absolutely. I mean, like last time if I remember correctly, Storm is so out of the X-Men, let's say the traditional X-Men team where we got Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean, um, Beast, Storm. I know I'm missing one.
What?
Am I missing one of like like anytime you see the X-Men, the standard X-Men team?
So you'd have Cyclops, Storm, uh, Jean Grey, Beast, Archangel, depending on the story, Gambit.
And
Oh,
Wolverine. So yeah. So out of all them, her and Jean Grey are the only Omega level mutants.
Bobby Drake too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the standard. Like, yeah, he's an X-Men, but anytime you see the X-Men, 9 times out of the time, it's not you're not seeing Bobby. But from the standard team, that just like on that standard team, like they got 2 Omega level X-Men, and I love the fact that they're both women. They're both women. Both Jean and Storm are Omega level at base. No, I'll put it this way: at base form, no alterations. She's an Omega level. The thing about Bobby is that he only became an Omega level when Emma Frost took over his body and was able to untap his potential. Was able to tap into his full potential. Storm, she doesn't need any alterations. She doesn't need anyone, finding out how strong she really is. On a just like I said, just on her having a bad day. Just on her, if she even has one emotional breakdown, she can flood countries. She can throw the world into a second ice age just from having an emotional breakdown or a mental breakdown. And I'll say with Jean, she's an Omega level with Phoenix Force. All right, I feel like the only time anyone ever talks about Jean Grey being Omega level is when we're talking about Phoenix. Jean Grey. So again, I still count that as an alteration. That's still something a secondary force coming in and making them more powerful. Same thing with like Magneto. He doesn't. I mean, he becomes a mega level like later on, like in his late years. But when we normally see him, he has to have the mutant amplifier in order. But Storm can destroy shit just on a whim, as is. So out of the core members of the X-Men, she's the only Omega level. Only Omega level. And that shit, I love it. I love it. And she knows this. She knows this. And every day every second of every day she has to keep herself in control. She has to make sure that she doesn't like controlling her powers. It's like controlling Mother Nature. And that's why I wanted to save talking about Storm for last, because I feel like personally feel like Storm is the Black Super Queen of Black Super Queens. You know what I mean?
Storm is Mother Nature.
She is, yes, she is Mother Nature. You piss off Storm, you're literally pissing off Mother Nature. So I that's why I wanted to save her for last. Um, from her origins, now Storm has had like about like 3, 4, I think 3 different origin stories within the last few years. Um, I don't want to count the X-Men Apocalypse story for like the live action kind of origins, but I feel like that's that's close to her original origins in a way.
It is where she was a thief in Egypt. Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah.
She was revealed to have been working for the Shadow King.
Mm-hmm. Now, again, I have to rewatch the animated series. I'm gonna go back and rewatch all 70 some odd episodes of the original X-Men series before X-Men 97 drops. But in her origins in animated series was Xavier had actually found her in Africa, and she was being held as kind of like the high priestess, the one that kind of she used her powers to control the weather in order to help fertilize crops, make sure that everyone has enough water. Like she was using her powers pretty much for her tribe and pretty much her people to pretty much keep them alive and stuff like that. And she was held as a goddess to them. I believe that, and so Xavier, using using Cerebro, ends up finding her and goes there. Is like, "Yo, listen," um, gives her the usual spiel. Your powers and abilities have a great potential and could truly save the world on multiple occasions. Whatever, whatever, and pretty much
Was
ends up
that your
like
white
it
man?
doesn't work. Yeah, yeah. Dave Chappelle has his. I got mine. Um, um, but correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't work at first. Like she tells him no, but the usual. Oh, I can teach you to control your powers better and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. She's like, nah, I'm good. I'm here for my people. This and that. But something ends up happening, and she ends up losing control. Ends up hurting people or whatever, and that's when she ends up deciding, you know what, Charles, I think I think I definitely need to go with you to help learn more about my powers and control my powers better.
Mm.
Am I close? Am I close on that one? Because again, I
You're,
haven't watched the animated series in whew, whew, decades.
if
Damn, that
memory
hurts
serves
to
me
say.
correctly, they touch on her origins so much in the original animated series.
You cut out a little bit on that. What was that?
I said I don't believe they touched heavily on her origins so much in the original animated series.
Yeah, they only. It was only like it was in a flashback. It was actual Storm episode. I think it was the episode where she's having a class. She ends up losing control because of her claustrophobia, and she's talking to someone and she's reminiscing on how she came to be at the institute for gifted children, and that was it. It was literally just in like that flashback episode.
Gifted children. Xavier knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I bet you every time he got a group of gifted children, they arrived on a short bus.
What?
Gifted.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. 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 But now, I mean, if you're going on the other side of that, as in, if you want to say gifted, as in meaning black, yeah, because we all know that we all know the X-Men, and mutants within that universe were supposed to represent, African American, the African Americans and the oppression that we were going through at the time. Charles Xavier was Martin Luther King, peaceful protesting, everything's gonna come along eventually. Magneto was Malcolm X by any means motherfucking necessary. Right. So, which I find interesting because that's what they're going that's kind of like, so they're going with, I don't know if you've seen the trailer yet for X-Men 97, but Magneto's in charge of the X-Men now. Pretty much Xavier, when before Xavier passed or whatever, I can't remember what happened at the end of the series.
He shows up with Xavier's last will and testament, and it states that everything that Xavier owned is now Eric's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they revisit that in the show, as well, which is pretty dope. Again, this is a direct continuation, a direct continuation. So it's gonna be really awesome to watch. Um, but yeah, no, to me, Storm is Queen of Queens when it comes to superpowers. I'm currently reading King in Black, and her role in King in Black, she's literally in the skies taking on the forces of Null, like damn near single handedly, absolutely just wrecking them and shredding them. Because apparently one of their weaknesses is lightning,
Well, it makes
is
sense.
electricity.
It makes sense because if it accompanies fire.
Hmm. Yeah, because apparently a null and his forces are immune to fire. Like, it doesn't, like, he doesn't have the same weaknesses that Venom does. Um, which I find interesting. I will definitely like to read more into that and figure out like more about like why would that was a thing. Um, but if you haven't read King in Black, I'm absolutely loving it. I loved it when it first came out, and I was just reading bits and pieces of it. But now that I'm actually able to read the entire thing, and the fact that this, like, the King in Black storyline is like a legit crisis event, to the point where a Marvel hero that's not talked about very often arrives and is kind of like the savior of the entire thing. Like, like Captain Universe, dude. Like, that's how big of a threat Null is. Captain Universe only pop up once in a fucking blue moon when like shit has gone to absolute shit. And the storyline is it takes place across multiple different hero storylines, including Guardians of the Galaxy. And this, like, there's a legit like piece in Guardians of the Galaxy apparently where like Star-Lord, people think Star-Lord's dead, but really he's in a different dimension and he's like learning and gaining powers and shit like that. And yeah, it's crazy. Um so check it out, King of Black. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, that is some of our favorite, Black super queens. It's Black History Month. Black women need to get their roses for the strength, the integrity, and the durability that they have.
Mm-hmm.
The shit that Black women go through on a daily basis is something, and them being able to take it and keep moving forward is something that needs to be admired, something that needs to be loved, and something that needs to be cherished. Because again, without Black women, we really wouldn't have much Black history at all.
Right. I'd like to give a shout out to my nieces, Lyric and Samaya, my goddaughters, Nevea, Charlotte, and Zaria. You little ladies
Yep.
of the future.
Mm-hmm. Let me give a shout out to my nieces as well, Kaylani, Gigi. I love y'all. Y'all have a world. Y'all gonna rule the world. Y'all gonna rule the world. I'm gonna give a shout out to my sisters, Shanessa, Jacqueline, Lena, Mikey. I love y'all. Y'all rule the world. Seriously, y'all rule the world. Black women around the world, Black women listening, Black queens, y'all rule the world. And we understand this. Coming from a Black man, we love y'all. We love y'all. We cherish y'all. And we gonna protect y'all by any means necessary.
Big facts. Oh, hold
Big
on.
fact.
I got a few more I can't forget. Ziggy,
Go for it.
Hazel, uh, Tina, Divya, Snovia. I find myself surrounded by a bunch of little women who are going to rule the future.
Yeah, yeah. It's oh my god. It's the future looks bright. And if I was to give any advice to any young Black women that are listening, that end up going back rewatching this, remember, always forward, never back. Forward always. Keep your head high and just know that your Black kings are gonna have y'all back. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Black queens listening, that has been the Super Breakdown. Love thy neighbor. And remember, we're going to rule this world by any means necessary. Any final words for the people?
Any final words for the people? Honestly, I've got nothing.
Honestly, yeah, I feel like what I said just now it really sums it all up. For me, those are my final words. Remember, always forward, never back. Stay strong, be diligent, and just keep keep being golden. Yeah, damn, yeah. Now I'm gonna, yeah, we gotta. I want to shout out, our, these guys one last time. Midnight Comics, Lady Mandalore. I need to give them a shout out one last time because again, like I said, Midnight Comics, they have helped us out so much and helped us with a lot of direction so much. Lady Mandalore, it's her giving blurs like us, and for those of you who don't know, blurs are Black nerds, and that's what we are. We are Black nerds, giving our people a sanctuary, if you would, a space where we can just really just kind of like let our freak flag fly in a way, and just be ourselves. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it, and it's definitely something that we need in our culture. So many, for so long, like within the black culture, within the black community, watching anime, watching cartoons and stuff like that, that shit was considered weird. It wasn't socially acceptable. And so now, to look at the times, how the times have changed, I would even say that our culture put anime on the map, made anime cool. I know that's a little bit of a hot take, maybe, for some people, but I feel like we made anime cool.
No, I would definitely agree.
Like, literally, like, seriously, it's fucking amazing. And again, so I want to give a shout out to her for giving us a room that we can be in, that we can speak in, and that we can just be ourselves and connect with each other. I love it. So definitely, we appreciate you guys. Thank y'all. That has been the Super Breakdown. Take a minute and hear from Midnight Comics and Room Full of Blurs.
Going on, everybody. Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, the Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchups. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out the Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Room Full of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
And with that, remember, fuck prep time.
Fuck prep time.